the time. And
It's from Saturday Night Live. That's why.
Oh. We're live
from San Diego. Polite as fuck.
Polite as fuck podcast. Welcome.
I feel like this week I've been, you know how we were kind of talking about our name and like why we're called polite as fuck, and I feel like sometimes it's because we are polite, like we want to come across as like nice people, but we have a sass. This week has been my sassy, where it's like the sass end of polite as fuck, like the not ironic. What's the word? Like what
my mind is literally empty. Like there's not one thought.
That's going good. On. This is going to be a really great episode. I can't think of the word. It'll come to me. I'll like yell it at like the most random
think
time.
Of it. I like our name because I like how you explained it. Like we're like taking up space. Mm-hmm. We're like doing it in a way that is authentic to ourselves and are like is genuine and kind, but like we're not afraid to like take up space and have conversations and say what's on our minds.
Yeah. So I feel like this week I really had to like take up that space to get my feelings and point across.
Yeah. That's good. I've been in my little sad shell.
Share with us why you're in your sad shell.
Okay, yeah, we're just gonna do some life updates because I feel like we haven't done those in a second.
Yeah.
I feel like we always just kind of like dive in to whatever. Well, last week was my birthday and I was riding a high. I was feeling love. I was feeling connection. I was feeling confident. I was excited. I'm like, another year of life. This is going to be awesome. And it's awesome. 27. It's so wild.
27. 20.
That's insane.
I know.
Anyway, yeah, last week was great. And then I double booked. I booked 2 dates. I did 2 dates in like 4 days.
Yeah.
One of them was a Wednesday night. We went to Shore Club, which is a bar in PB, which is not...
My God, I forgot about this. Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about what you did.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Did not mean to interrupt. My bad.
Yeah, we went to this bar, which like is a place that Ellie and I like to go on the weekends and like dance when we're like pretty, feeling ourselves.
Yeah.
I've never been out there on a Wednesday evening, and apparently a lot of people are out and about.
Which is weird.
It's all like college kids or like older people who seem to be like preying on college kids.
Gross.
Anyway, he picks me up. Nice car. We're having good banter. It's fine. But he was like, I want to do the fish races. And I was like, oh, I don't know what that means. Sure. Turns out it's these like containers, like long containers, side by side. So and you get a goldfish in a cup and a straw. And the guy with his blowhorn is like, all right, go. And then you dump your fish into the container and blow bubbles to scare it to swim to the other side. Which, if you know me, that is like, I hated it.
It crosses a level.
Yeah.
It crosses a line, I mean.
Like, I get that goldfish are like, it's a goldfish, but it's a goldfish. It's a fish and it's alive. And I don't want to be terrorizing the fish.
I'm like, how many... There's so many thoughts and questions I have about this. Just like the logistics, right? How many goldfish? Where do they get? What is happening?
I don't know. From what I can tell, it's the same goldfish. And how does San Diego? Oh, like they scoop it back up and give it to the next person. So this poor goldfish is just like traumatized all night. Sad. Yeah,
I can't even think about that.
He signed me up for it. I was like, oh, this is the other thing. He kept leaving me. So I was just like hanging out, like I was sending Ellie like stuff.
I know. I was like, oh, she's going to have a good time. And then when I started getting the text messages and then the TikToks being sent and then the Instagram reels, I'm like, I know how the date's going.
Like, I'm not going to let him like ruin my night.
Yeah.
I was taking the free drinks. I was hanging out.
Yeah.
But I was just like, this is weird. All around weird. Whatever. I'm like, I don't care if I ever see him again. Oh, I also was like, I'm going to take advantage of the situation. And can I drive your car? So I drove his car back. And that was fun.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice car.
And you made friends.
I made friends.
Because he kept fucking off.
Yeah. I made friends, some girlfriends who just moved here, which we should invite them out this weekend.
Perfect.
There we go.
Okay. That's who we're inviting. Because I'm refraining.
We're gonna get to that.
Yes, we're getting to that. But yes, that would be a good idea.
So fast forward to Sunday. I got invited to go rock climbing at 8 a.m, which I was like, okay, I can do that. That's fine. It's a bit early, but like I was excited.
Yeah.
It was like an active date. Like that is me. Something like that. Not fish races.
Definitely not fish races. Yeah, the climbing is definitely more you.
Yeah. And like I liked it because we had made the plan earlier in the week.
Right.
And then we like didn't talk. And that's perfect. Like let's make a plan and see each other. I don't want to like force text message you.
Yeah.
So I feel like I like got too excited and like too nervous. Like I was like psyching myself out. I was like, I got up early and like braided my hair so that I like looked all cute at the climbing gym. And like I was also nervous because I haven't climbed in like literally years.
Yeah.
Anyway, get there. He's really cute.
Very cute.
Ellie's met him.
I've met him. Very cute, very tall.
Yeah, and like he was really nice. I was like, take me through your routine because this is what he does. Mm-hmm. And he was really encouraging, like when I was trying to boulder. But he only talked about himself the whole time. Which it's like, I was like, is he just nervous? But it got to a point where I was like, I feel like I'm just like interviewing you.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like I couldn't tell if he even wanted to be there.
Yeah.
In a way, because
which is sucky because then it makes you think like why would I ask any more questions?
Yeah.
If you're getting the feeling of them not wanting to be there and you already feel like you're interrogating them basically, I would just kind of feel like you did. We're like, okay, I'm done asking you about yourself.
Yeah, no, I literally like stopped asking and then it was just like silent. Which is like, I'm fine with the silence, but it felt like he was, maybe I was just, I don't know. But this is the thing that Ellie and I have been talking about is like, am I being hypercritical because I'm like so scarred from like past relationships and past dates that I'm like, the moment something doesn't go perfect or like right how I want it to go, does that mean it's a total wash or like that there's no chance or that whatever?
Yeah.
Like, so I was, after this date, I was like, calm down, Erica. You had a good time. Like, I was like, I would be willing to go on a second date. Mm-hmm. And we had talked about belaying because I feel so nervous bouldering, like without ropes. I'm not confident.
Yeah.
I like psych myself out because I'm like, and then I just like fall to the ground. So I was like, I'm going to do the belay certification on Wednesday. I had a great time. Like, I would love to go again. I'm going to get belay certified, blah, 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 blah. And he said, I'm glad you had a good time. Sounds good.
I would,
Which it was like, I feel like I almost walked into that because that was how he had texted before. So why would I expect him to suddenly be like, me too, I had such a great time, you're so great.
All of a sudden change who he was, right?
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it is, I think kind of like what I told you though, is like you were looking almost, not even, I don't want to say validation, but you were just looking for literally anything. One sort of string to be like, should I come back to this engagement? Like, should I come back to even putting energy into this?
Yeah.
And then he said that, oh God, you're just like.
I was like, okay, cool. So Ellie and I went. I was like, hey, do you want to go get your belay certification? We booked it. And then he texted me the morning of on Wednesday and was like, hey, I'll see you tonight at the class. I was like,
what?
Okay. I didn't get that that's what was happening, but okay.
Been like, who's this? No,
I don't have his name saved. I do not add names
until
I know that I'm gonna like have a relation, like a connection, anything with you. Yeah. So anyway, Ellie met him, and tell me your thoughts.
He was. At first, I thought he was nervous because it was like an intimate class. I mean, there were only 4 of us.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just annoying. Like, I don't know if he thought it was a date because he didn't make that clear. But then he was also there. So I didn't know if he was just like intimidated by the fact that you had like brought other people with you, or
I did
what?
tell him that you were coming.
I know, but I don't know. He just seemed like a little nervous because he wasn't really like talking. So like talking to anybody. We were just there like listening, and then it would just be like, you know, wasn't really an interaction.
Yeah.
And then slowly as we started like moving away from like the lesson and we went upstairs and we were actually like climbing, did I realize that I think it's not nervousness, I think it's just emotional immaturity. Because when we were climbing, after we had got the certification, the like teacher or whatever left us, you know, to our own devices, literally. And you and I were climbing. The other guy fucked off too, which was crazy because halfway I was literally belaying this guy and he gets up like 2 feet and he like looks down to like the certification lady and is like, how far do I have to go because I'm afraid of heights? And she was like, we all like looked at each other and she was like, you can go up as high as you want. And he's like, I'm coming down. I was like, okay.
I know, when he said I'm going down, I was like, what?
Well, when I left, I think he was like with his group of friends and maybe they had like pushed him to go do it. I don't know, but at the time I was like, what? I mean, good for you to like, you know, try to break
Step out of your comfort zone.
But while we were climbing, he was on if any of you guys have been to a climbing gym, there's like literally like top rope climbing area and the bouldering area, and we were in like the easy peasy climbing section, and he was like trying to boulder up this huge rock face and was like, climb this way. What about this hold? What about this hold? And I was just like, dude, stop. Stand here and act like a normal person. You're literally acting like a 15-year-old boy.
I think it's emotional immaturity, and I think he's also just like awkward, and I also think climbing community, like, I know this is stereotyping.
But I don't care.
But the climbing community is like, I don't ever feel like I belong in the climbing community.
No.
Like, I don't think that I like have met people that I can like connect with.
It is a culture.
It is a culture that is just not like my personality.
Sometimes that's why I was like giving him the benefit of the doubt, because I'm like, that's why I texted you and I was like, it seems like he might just be nervous because I feel like this is kind of behavior like you want to show off. You don't really know what to do with yourself. If you're tall, you may not, you all of a sudden revert back to like, I don't know what to do with my limbs. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I thought. But I'm just kind of like, what gets me is the fact that he still didn't ask, like after I had left, he still didn't ask you anything about yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's a perfect time. Like, okay, first date is done. Broke the ice a little bit. Now you can just like relax and ask questions and have a conversation. And it just felt like very, watch what I can do. Ask me questions about myself, but I'm only going to give you like 1-word answers.
And I feel like the day on Sunday, I usually go right for like, not the typical question.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to like have a conversation.
Something a little deeper.
Yeah. And so then on Wednesday, I was like, maybe I need to like step back. And I was like, what type of music do you listen to? And he's like, anything but country. And I was like, so you don't like,
which is
not
something a 15-year-old boy says who has not listened to any music.
Yeah. I was like, there's not one country song that you like.
Yeah.
And he was like, there's one. I just don't know it. And then that was the end. Like, he never asked me what I like to listen to. He never said what he actually likes to listen to. He never, like, I was just like, okay. And then when he walked me to my car, I could feel myself reverting to this tendency that I have when I'm, like, upset or frustrated of, like, closing off and just being, like, pretty short with people.
Yeah.
And so he, like, walked me to my car, and I was like, okay, see you later. Like, literally, like, get away from me.
Which is fine.
And he was like, yeah, I'll, like, see you for our next adventure. And I was like, I literally was like, the ball's in your court now because I planned this. So I'll leave it to you to, like, let me know if you want to do something again.
Said that?
Probably not as aggressive as I just said it. But that is, I said the ball's in your court.
Yeah.
I was like, I like, did this. So if you want to do something, like, the ball's in your court. And he was like, yeah, I'll text you. And then I just like slammed my door and drove away. And he hasn't texted. Not that it's been a day. Like, you don't need to text me. But I'm just like,
just going back to what you were saying though, this isn't what this episode is about, but I just think it's important, like, update on both of our lives a little bit. Is like, I don't think it's like your standards are too high. I don't think you're putting like, I don't think it's abnormal to feel the way that you're feeling. I just think it's like dating, and it's annoying because it's like some people just don't like fit, and even though they may look the part, they may not like be the part on the inside, you know? It's just hard because it's like basic shit that people are missing, I think. Like a fucking conversation? How hard is that?
Well, so I had therapy today before this, and I was actually talking about it because I said the same thing. I was like, am I just being too critical, and are my standards too high? Yeah. Like, is it me? And my therapist was like, tell me what your standard is. And I told her, and she was like, no, that's not too high. Like, that's fine. Yeah. She was like, honestly, it probably was really good for you to have your birthday the week before and to feel what, like, it is for someone to like want you in their space and to be genuinely like interested and care about you. Yeah. And then to see that stark contrast of like, this is someone who maybe they do want me in their space, but they really don't know how to communicate that. They're like emotionally immature. They're awkward. And I could so visibly see the differences between the two, which is probably why it like sucked so much, because I'd just come off of this high of like what that should feel like.
Yeah.
So
the problem is, though, is like, you don't need a project.
No.
You don't need to teach someone how to communicate to you.
Yeah.
Or to communicate in general. You know, there are give and takes now and again, like on what you're looking for or what standards are, or, you know, in certain instances, maybe we are being a little too critical. But at the end of the day, like, if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. You can't make someone mold to you. And it's just frustrating to feel that and know that it's like such an easy thing. Like, if, again, it's annoying and obviously like duh, but like, if you just did this, it'd be perfect.
Literally just like show it any interest. Yeah, that would be great. But but I think to your point, it's like, I don't want a project. And so like, even though in the past I've taken that on and I've been like, I can help them, I can teach them, it's like, no, I know what it is to have a good connection, even if that's like what my friends have shown me and my family has shown me, and I know what it's like to not have that. And I don't have the energy or capacity to take that on. Like, I feel like, sure, there are things I need to work on every day, but I feel like I'm a fully formed human.
Right. Well, and I was just thinking too, like, think back to like high school or college, where like you would see someone that you like or that you're kind of talking to, and you see them almost every day in like a class or walking by each other, or you live in the same dorm room. It's a lot easier to ask like a question like, why don't you ask me questions about myself? Like, why don't you ask me? Why don't you do this? Like, where you can kind of shimmy it into like seeing if there's a deeper connection. But when you are an adult and you have to actually like make time and space and energy for another person in your schedule during the week, on the weekends when it's your free time, it's a lot harder to have that conversation, because what are you going to do? You're going to show up to another planned date 2 hours out of your time to ask them why they don't ask about you? Like, no, you're just going to be like, no, thanks. I don't want to go. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Was interesting. You learned a lot, and move on.
Yeah. So that's my life update. That's my dating. That's the dating sitch right now.
Yeah.
And Ellie, what's happening in your neck of the woods?
in my neck of the woods. Well, I've not been on a single date this year. Yeah. Not a single date. I just just don't really feel up to it. I feel very much similar. Like, I just know what I want and what I don't want, and so I'm not really feeling up to it. And why would I show up not feeling very positive and waste someone else's time? You know, it just doesn't seem fair to myself or to the other like people that I may or may not be interested in. But I recently did have like a little bit of an epiphany on why I think I'm not dating or why I think people aren't coming into my life. I don't know if it's true. There's no science backed behind it, but I was just thinking, like, I was on the phone literally last night with my sister and my aunt, and we were talking about my aunt's ex, and like, she had said something, and I was like, oh, fucking men. Men are so fucking dumb. And I like stopped for a second, and I was like, I think I say that phrase more than 5 times a day. like, I always have something to say about men. Like, something, oh, wow, dumb, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I kind of flipped it back. I'm like, how do I expect to receive, like, love, affection, interest from this person that I am, like, sexually interested in if I constantly dog them?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know, like, I just think that my language needs to change when it comes to talking about men, because I'm not going to allow any of them in if I'm constantly like, they all fucking suck. They're all this, they're all that. This happens. It's like, maybe because kind of what you were saying is like, if you've been dogged so many times or like you're like scarred.
Yeah.
It does kind of stop you and give you kind of a very negative outlook on things. So I'm going to try, I'm like challenging myself to not talk so much shit about men. Let's just, about men. Because I think, I'm still looking, like I still have my, like what I'm looking for and what my expectations are. And I don't think that's going to change. But I also don't think it's good for myself or for like my energy if a relationship or a partner or some sort of like intimate connection is what I'm looking for, to constantly be so negative about it. And I mean, I think that goes for like all aspects, not being so negative in all aspects of my life. But I was just like, I said those words and I was like, oh my God, no wonder why nothing is coming my way.
Yeah.
But that's literally my update on my love
dating.
life. That's it. But what else did I say? I wanted to say my updates.
Dentist and brunch. You don't have to talk about those, but
no, dentist and brunch. Yeah, no, that's good. Dentist, fuck insurance. I don't really want to go on this whole spiel, but like America, the free, America the brave can fucking suck my ass, because I have had the worst day of insurance. Oh my God, was on the phone all day, basically was told that I have to pay. I literally just got x-rays and a teeth cleaning done like 3 weeks ago. And now I'm being told that I have to pay for it out of pocket because of some bullshit saying it wasn't the right like dentist with the insurance. I found this dentist on my insurance website.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway. It doesn't make any sense to me. All I have to say is when I was in Australia, my dentist was free. I went to the dentist like 3 times and it was just like free. I walked in. It was a service that they provided. And I doesn't make any sense. I once had to go to the emergency room and get antibiotics and it cost me like $75. One check, one bill, and then they sent me a mail like receipt saying like, thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome, doctors in Australia. But then I was like talking to my mom today, and it's so true. It's not anybody's fault. And I did like apologize to the insurance guy on the phone today because I was livid. I was like so mad. I was like, I cannot pay this. Also, what teeth cleaning is $540? I can clean my own. I can buy the equipment and clean my own fucking teeth for less. Swear to God. So what the hell is happening? But I apologized, one, because I've been like on the other end of like those kind of calls, like customer service calls, and it's no one's fault. It's not the insurance guy's fault, and it's not my dentist's fault. It's not my fault. It's just the way that we have set things up in this country is so fucked. And my mom was like, this is why it's so important to like vote and be aware of things, because you yelling at your insurance guy isn't going to fix it. You yelling at the dentist isn't going to fix it. Or you calling me crying isn't going to fix it, which I did all of the above.
Of
So it's just, a thought to think about. But I was just like, so that was my dentist story, my little tangent. My other update. Oh my God, guys. I just want to apologize for the last episode. I feel like my eyes are like a... Sophia. I was like, tarot, empress. Oh, God, cool. I was on the struggle bus. I think I said it a little bit in the last episode, but we went to the drag show. They had ever-flowing mimosas, which then ended and they just switched straight to the champagne. I don't know how much I drank. Apparently, I called my sisters. I called everybody in my phone. I don't remember a single thing. I don't remember being that fucked up until we got home. But anyway, I drank too much, feeling good. Me and Sophia were hanging out. I realized, like, as the show was ending, I was like, I can't drive us home. So then I texted you and I was like, hey, like, can you come pick us up?
Yeah.
I walked out of this, like, dark room of the show and saw the light, and all of a sudden, like, it hit me. And there's, like, pictures. Sophia was, like, taking pictures of me in front of the thing. And I was like, ooh, like, there are these wild pictures of me. And there's this one, like... Oh my God, she was dressed as like must have been like Virgin Mary or Mary about to give birth, because she had like the pregnant belly. And I'm taking a picture with her and I'm like kissing on her belly. I'm like all over the place. Don't remember doing that. I was like, there's like cash in my hand. I'm just going like this. I'm like, that's why they get you fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Like cash was flowing that day. Anyway, I remember like little bits. I honestly don't remember where I parked. And so I was like, I just texted you some random street. I was like, I'm
so glad I had your location, because that's how I found you. I pulled up her location and I was like, take me to this spot.
And then I just like, oh my God, just like Sophia was like, no, we got to keep walking. We have to find the car, because that's where like she'll meet us, is at the car. And I'm like, I honestly don't know where I am right now. We're 2 blocks away from, and I had taken like 7 wrong turns. And you pulled up and Sophia was like on the other side of the road, and I was just sprawled out on the sidewalk, and I saw you, and I didn't even think about it because I knew like I don't like drinking or pushing my drinking limits, because I just get sick so quick.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
I was so surprised that you weren't sick, because I feel like I've never seen you fucked up.
And not sick.
Like when I
was
feel like...
so, oh my God. It was so bad. I can't even remember it. Anyway, I was just like, okay, I just need to get in the car. And I also get car sick. So I just saw the front door and I just walked in and sat down. I don't remember the car ride. I don't know if I had my eyes open or closed.
I thought you looked so happy. You were like peacefully sleeping in the back.
Oh,
you weren't even in the front.
Oh,
when you said you saw the front door, I was like, you weren't in there, honey.
Oh, wow. It was peaceful.
You went in the back, you put the middle thing down, and you laid your head on it. And
Did I?
Yeah. And when I looked back there, you were literally like smiling with your eyes closed.
I legitimately thought I was in the front seat. Okay. And then we pulled up to the apartment complex, and I literally opened the door and just like, Erica was trying to take pictures because Sophia was laughing at me, and literally you said that you had to like stop the video because I was just like, like it was all over.
I was like, I'm gonna throw up.
Could not stop. It was disgusting because I didn't have anything but drag show food, which was like potatoes and an omelet, which I only ate half of, and then mimosas and champagne.
Oh God.
And I think I want to say like at one point I had 2 glasses and Sophia had 2 glasses just on the table, and then Sophia was holding a glass and I was holding a glass. So there were a total of 6 glasses that they were also refilling. And I remember I have a Snapchat and they were all like lined up, and like a xylophone where you like take it's like clink, 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 clink or whatever. I took my class and I was like clink, 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 clink. I'm like, oh my God, what a fucking idiot. Anyway, I slept for like 4 hours, and then I woke up. And Sophia was like, Ellie, like, we got to record the podcast today. And I was like, I know, like, we have plenty of time. Like, I think we're going to record at 3:30, but we can push it to 4. She's like, it's like 6:50. And I was like, it's 6:50 at night in the evening? Yeah. And then we did the episode, and that was that. And then I was severely sick. We ordered sushi for some godforsaken reason.
When I was like, I don't know if I would want to eat that.
It was like, it sounded so good because I love sushi, but then when it got here, I was like, I can't. I tried to eat the edamame, I couldn't do it. I couldn't even look at the sushi.
Yeah.
And then thank God Sophia got the miso soup from the store because I really needed that. That's like what tied me over. But then I like was throwing up not all night, but I woke up to throw up, and then my Bash was throwing up sick too. So I was like, I was sick, she was sick, and then I woke up Monday and it was just like, oh my God, the whole weekend of just like smoking so much, drinking so much, eating all of this stuff. I had ice cream, which I like should never have ice cream. So I was just so sick. And then I was so sad that Sophia left that day, that I was like depressed and coming off my highs, that I was like, what do I even do with my life? And then I had a Zoom meeting for work right after I dropped Sophia off, I didn't have time to eat anything. And obviously, like, my stomach was still, like, all fucked up. So I was like, I'll just drink some coffee. So I just, like, chugged a whole cup of coffee. Why did I say glass? What the hell? Immediately threw it up in the middle of the Zoom meeting. So I was like, I think I'm not going to be coming in today because I am struggling. And I said I had the stomach flu. So sorry, work, if you're listening, which hopefully to God you're not. But yeah, so that's what my previous week looked like. Yeah, that's what my life looks like in the life of Ellie. So
the moral of the story is,
I know I was going to say, like, don't drink on Sundays, but I'm like, no, drink on Sundays. Just don't be fucking an idiot. Or have sushi after.
Yeah. Or, like, drink some water intermixed with that, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Or, like, eat before you drink, which we've discussed so many times.
Yeah, we have.
It's a rule.
Actually,
and I broke the rule. And I was paying for it.
Yeah.
I feel like just now I'm, like, coming alive again.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my life.
That's what's been going on in our world. Yeah. And so we want to talk about roommates.
Full shift, guys. Talking about roommates. Horror stories. What kind of roommates we were. And yeah, I want to. Am I a good roommate? I hope. We'll end with that. So I want to hear. I've been dying. This is gonna jump right in. I want to know the story. You only said one thing. You said someone took. I just heard, well, my roommate was on coke and punched a hole through a wall, and that's all I heard. I don't know the story. I've never heard it before, and that's what I want to start with.
Okay, yeah. So, obviously, I had never lived with anyone aside from my family until I went to college.
Right, yeah, same here.
And in the dorms, it was 8 girls in the dorm room.
Oh, my God.
And I swear that my room used to be a closet, and they just, like, shoved a bed in there. It was... Of all the rooms, mine was the smallest. It was literally like a triangle. Like, it was like a wall, and then like half of a wall. So I like had my bed, and my bed didn't even like go flat against the wall. Like, that's how tiny my room was.
But you had your own like a door.
But I did have my own. Everyone had their own room, which was really nice. Yeah. There were 2 bathrooms. So it was like 4 girls shared one bathroom, 4 girls shared the other. And then we had a living room. And I don't know, you're like in college, you're living on your own for the first time, you're figuring out all this stuff, you're like trying to like do whatever the heck you want because you can, but you're also like scared and like
yeah, it's all
these feelings. And I went to a school where I didn't know anyone, I never lived there before. Anyway, there were 2 girls in that setup that were in sororities, and I had gone to the initial like sorority meeting.
Really?
Because another girl who was from Nevada was at Boise at the time. And she was like, we should go like just see what it's about. And she ended up like dipping. She left the college like the next week. Yeah. But I went to that meeting and I was like, I just can't do this. This is not me. Yeah. Like, they were talking about how like they'll like look at all your social media and like if you're not the right fit, you're not the right fit, but like we're gonna like look through all your things to like see if you'll vibe with us. And I was just like, nope, that's okay, I'll find my own friends on my own. But anyway, they were in sorority, so they had things going on all the time. I remember one time they were like the 4 seasons for one of the parties. Oh, God. So it was like spring, summer, the 4 seasons. Yeah.
You can name them if you want. Fall and winter. There you go. A+ students here.
They wore like lingerie basically in like the different colors and would have like leaves in their hair or like flowers in their hair. And they just like would dump sparkles like all over their body. But of course then it would get all over the room, all over the bathroom. And one of them was dating a football player, and...
Really? That's so weird.
I know, it's so bizarre. And...
God, I'm such a hater.
I just give this context because, like, they would come back... I was a nerd. I was literally in the honors college. I had a 7:30 a.m. calc class. Like, I was that person.
Cute.
So I would be in bed by, like, 10 or 11 during the week. And they would come back and always forget their keys. And my room, the window was by the door. So they would always be like knocking on my door, like, Erica, let us in, blah, blah, blah. So they, like, I was like, you guys are driving me nuts. Like, you making the bathroom disgusting. You never remember your keys.
Oh my God.
Like, you're always loud and obnoxious. And they would, like, host pregame parties, like, at our apartment without asking. So I would, like, be coming back from class or something. And, like, all these people are in the dorm. Well, we're in the dorm. We're underage. And there's, like, Coke and alcohol and all the stuff. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to leave. So then I don't feel like I can be in my apartment.
Like space, yeah.
So I would, like, go to the movies or something. It was just, like, very frustrating. But her and her football player boyfriend were arguing one night. It woke me up out of my sleep. And I came out to see what was going on because they were, like, screaming at each other.
Yeah.
And he punched a hole. So, like, the way that the living room was set up, there was, like, walls on each side. But then it was just, like, an opening on the other side that was the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And then there was, like, the door where the actual toilet was. So he punched a hole through that bathroom wall into the living room.
Oh my God.
There was just like this giant hole in our wall. And I'm standing there between her and her boyfriend because I like had come out and was like, what is going on? And I was like, you need to get out of our apartment.
Space, life, bye.
Yeah, get out. And he like walked past me. I just remember my heart like being in my mouth. And I was like terrified. The next day, she's mad at me.
For saying something?
Because I said something to our, who's the person?
Oh, yeah. What is that? RA?
RA.
Because like IRA.
There's a fucking hole in our wall and I'm not going to pay for that. And like this scary football player was in our room and I'd never want him there again because that was terrifying.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't like trying to be a snitch, but I was also like, hey, just letting you know, there was an argument last night. There's a hole in our wall. How do we go about like
fixing
making sure that we're not charged for it?
Yeah.
Even though it's in our room. Because I'm a broke college student I didn't have a job my first semester of college.
Yeah, I want to get in trouble for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's mad at me. They like don't talk to me the rest of the year, which like that's fine. I don't want to talk to you. But it was scary because her other friend who was also in the dorm room, I was sleeping one night and a guy walked into my room and I'm a really light sleeper. Well, I was at the time. I've since learned how to sleep through things, but like I sit up because there's a strange man in my room and he was like, oh, I thought this was the front door, which like doesn't make sense because you have to go past the bathroom and the living room to get to the front door. So I felt like they were like out to get me. Like, that was the vibe I was getting.
And it was almost like a, hey, go and walk in that room.
Yeah. I was so scared.
What a fuck. Oh. What
so
idiots.
that was only my freshman year, and it only gets worse, but.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I didn't know. I never told you about this.
I did not know. I vaguely remember knowing that you had a lot of people in your dorm room because I remember FaceTiming you or calling you a few times, and I remember you saying that there were a few people in there. But that's wild.
Yeah. Oh, this is what was really scary about that too, because at the same time they had an alert on campus that a man was breaking into girls' rooms.
Fuck that. Mm-mm.
And so when that guy comes in, I literally I felt my soul leave my body, and I was like, I'm about to die. And this guy that had been breaking in,
funny, it's a little
it was so scary. The guy that had been breaking into girls' rooms was taking their underwear and stuff, like creepy man. So I had thought that was the initial thing in my mind. Yeah. It's like, this is what's happening. Like, I'm the next victim of this panty sniffer.
You like open the door and you're like, don't take my panty. It's not funny, but God.
Yeah.
That's fucking scary.
Yeah, so I had some pretty rough roommates, and because of how my scholarship worked out, I had to live on campus every year, so I got random roommates every year, and it's just amazing to me how people you feel like people know how to clean and I don't know.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how little people actually know. How I don't know if it's privilege, I don't know what it is that my parents taught me how to, I don't know, wipe a counter down or like.
You're bringing up so many good points that I cannot wait to discuss.
Go ahead.
I feel like I was the not so great roommate because my freshman year, again, like I was, like you said, I've never lived with anybody else but my family, but my family was huge. Like it got my like last 4 years of living with my family, so almost all of high school, it was basically my mom, my dad, my aunt, my grandpa, my one sister, two sister, three sister, big dog. It was like all of us.
Yeah.
And military housing. At one point, we all, because they were like transferring us to another house, that we lived in an RV. All of us in an RV. Crazy. So I'm like, I know how to live with people, but this was my first time like not with family and also not being like the top dog where I can like boss everybody around, you know? Anyway, so like freshman year, I was wild freshman year. I like almost doubled my number of people I slept with. Like I was crazy, constantly partying because I was like, I got my first D. I've never gotten a D. And then my D was in college. I was like, oh, better. Even my coach at the time was like, Ellie, stop. And I was like, okay. So freshman year was crazy. But then I also started dating someone like
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So like this was a person, like it wasn't high school. This is, I feel like, one of my first like great loves. So I was like dating someone. And I left. I actually started out in one dorm room, but I left because it wasn't like really working out. I came late and I didn't want to be annoying. I didn't want to be that person. So I switched with someone that I was a little bit more comfortable with. And I think everything was fine, but I do feel like I was a little bit more... She put up with a lot, basically. And like I always had my boyfriend over. I don't think like it's not like we had like sex in the room. Like my sister Isabella has been telling me some college stories of hers. And I'm like, I never did anything like that. But it is like, thinking back, I'm like, how uncomfortable and annoying is it to have like your roommate and your roommate's boyfriend in this bed and you're on the other side? Like college is fucking weird. Like dorms are wild. And then sophomore year, I actually like lived with one of my best friends at the time, which I was so excited. Like we really got along at the time. I was like, this is going to be great. Her boyfriend was good friends with mine, so I thought it was going to be great. She's fucking wackadoodle. I do not care if people may know her. I don't give a shit. She counted her almonds. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is all I can eat. I can't live with that. So that friendship was a quick ending. And then, of course, it kind of went downhill from there. Yeah. And then moving off campus, like you still live with people. And so that in itself that is where I started to see the like cleaning and things not going well. My junior year was probably the most fun, even though like my like ex and I, like my boyfriend during college and I broke up that year. The people that I lived with were all older than me except for one. So it was like their senior year. They were ready to party. We always had parties at the house. It was so much fun to like be involved in that. And I really liked that. So when senior year came along, I still lived in that house. And then I brought a new group of people in. Like all of the people left and the new group came in. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it's going to be so much fun, blah, blah, blah. I moved upstairs. I got like a bigger room, got a little bit more privacy. And it was just not what I expected. And everybody was like very nitpicky on everything, but then wouldn't like take care of things themselves. And it was just like crazy. And this was bad of me. But this one time, like me and my friend, and she was also my roommate at the time, took shrooms on Easter actually. And one of my roommates, like downstairs, had this like massive bag of like Easter jelly beans. And like when you're on shrooms, colors sometimes like catch your eye. So like my friend walked down and saw this like massive bag of like colorfulness that we had to like bring upstairs and stare at. And like literally 4 hours later, one of the roommates was like, has anyone seen my jelly beans? Like, we had to like explain that we were like high on shrooms and we didn't eat them. We were just putting our hands in them like this.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't fucking know. So, I mean, like, I was kind of an annoying roommate. But at the same time, it's just, like, people are so weird. I also had a dog, which I don't think, like, people like too much. This one girl, my senior year, complained about Bash all the time. Said like all this shit. Bash is like the best fucking dog. Yeah. So you bashing on Bash is a fucking dumb thing to do. all of these things, talked all this shit behind my back, graduated, she got the same kind of dog.
Really?
I also started, I was that like kind of like fucking dumbass that had my own like Instagram account for my dog. I don't know if you remember. It was like, hi, my name is Bash.
Yeah.
And she started one too and got the same kind of dog. So I was like, fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. Anyway, that was my spiel of, I'm sure more stories will come up. But I just think like you brought up a good point about like dishes and cleaning and people taking care of themselves. And we tried to like start a like chore wheel basically where everybody has like, we wrote their names on the whiteboard and everybody has their thing to do. I feel like when there were 5 people, it was a 5-bedroom house, so there are 5 people. When I have 2 practices a day, 1 at night, 1 in the morning, and class all morning or class all day, like I don't want to have to come home to a mountain of dishes and have to clean everybody's dishes. People that just like leave all of their food, like say you had pasta and you just like are done with your pasta but there's still food in there and you just like throw it in the sink instead of just like scraping it out.
Yeah. I think that's like
I got petty where I would just wash my own dishes.
Yeah.
Be like, you guys can fuck off because this is disgusting and I'm not your mom.
I think like people have different, what they think is clean, what someone else thinks is clean is not dirty to someone else.
Yeah.
Because I do remember I was the person that was like, hey, I bought a calendar. Do you guys want to do a chore chart? Because I'm about to lose my fucking mind because I can't keep cleaning.
Can't do it. Yeah.
The kitchen. And they were like, yeah, like that sounds great. And they would like clean during their weekend. And it was like they took a wet paper towel and like wiped the counter down. I'm like, that's not cleaning. Yeah. That's not clean. Like there's shit in the microwave. Like the floor is disgusting. It's just dirty.
Yeah.
I guess like trying to find that compromise, I think is what I have like learned.
Same.
Because I think I went from like, I need everything to be how I like it to be and like how I was raised because that's how I'm comfortable, to like some of the things I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like this isn't
like relax a little bit on certain things.
Like it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I also think your level of willingness to help someone that you don't like goes down.
That's true.
So like I say I don't want to do people's dishes. Like we do each other's dishes all the time and I have no problem with it. No. It does not bug me even to the slightest. I actually enjoy doing dishes. I feel like if you want to do my laundry, you can do my laundry because I fucking hate laundry. Dishes, I will do. I love it. Don't mind it at all. When it's someone I don't like, every little thing, even if it was like a speck of food on there, I'd be like, yeah, it was just like, I would lose my mind. So it's like when you don't like people, you're not going to like be willing to do that. So I think that played a part in it. I do think it's a little different, but when you live with a boy, that changed my perspective. Like moving from like a roommate to living with a partner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, at the end of the day, we were basically just like glorified roommates. So I'm throwing it in there because that's basically what it was. But that's when I realized like, oh my God, people live so differently.
Yeah.
Than I do. And like you said, their expectations of cleanliness is different than ours. Mm-hmm. And when you don't like each other or don't have good communication, you can't communicate what your needs are. So when someone is like writing on the white, which I don't mind, but it's also like, I don't want to come home and see your passive aggressive note on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
Like I just don't need it because now I'm really not going to do your dishes. And you can, like I said, just fuck off. Because I'm annoyed. And then you're going to talk about it. And what is hard, too, about living with roommates is how uncomfortable the setting can be.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, I think it's such a different experience with you. Because that's why I was like, I'm never having roommates. Like, I'm living alone. And it was fine for like a second until I was like losing my mind. And I was like, I need like someone to talk to when I come home. Like I need something. But I was like, I can't just live with a random person because then you don't feel comfortable in the common area, or you like are sitting in your room until you hear them leave the kitchen and then you go in the kitchen and like things like that it's just like you're like tiptoeing around in this space that's like supposed to be your home.
Yeah.
And that's just like not a comfortable way to live.
Yeah.
And I know like in college, you're still so young and you're still figuring so much out. And I feel like you're still like not fully developed. So you're still like, now you're on your own. You're trying to figure out what you're trying to do with your career. You're trying to figure out new friends. You're trying to figure out all these things. And then living with these people that like are not your family and don't have your same like habits or standards or know you or anything. Like, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
It's very different than,
or don't meet your like personality. Like I went through a lot my junior year, even though it was like a fun year with the people that I lived with. Like I had family members pass, family drama up the wazoo, and like my boyfriend broke up with me, so that's always like super fun to go through. But we still like partied and I had fun. And so my senior year, I was like, I feel so much better. Like I'm past all of this stuff that I was dealing with last year. I'm like ready like to like go wild and have a super fun senior year. Could not have any parties. They did not want anyone over. I'm like, we have this this house was perfect, like a perfect party house, and they didn't want anyone over. And so I felt like I had to like sneakily make sure it was okay. Or like when I invited people like on the swim team, like I was on the team, so I'm gonna invite my team over to pregame before they'd be like, so is everyone coming over? Like, are they all over 21? Fuck off, we're in college. Shut up. So are you gonna be like supplying like these underage people like drinks? Are you my mom? And also my mom would be like, whoop, whoop, whoop. You know what I mean? So like, shut up. And like, I just did. And then it just like spiraled. But it's just like annoying when you don't get along. Or I kind of interviewed them to see if it would be a good fit. And like, I told them straight up what my expectations were, how I wanted to live. And I was like, I have a dog and the person that's living with me has 4 cats. Like we come as a deal. Like you either like it or you don't. I mean, we're all upstairs and we keep to ourselves, but like this is it. Also my senior year, the upstairs bathroom, me and Courtney's bathroom I forget what happened. Like our toilet got messed up or our shower needed to be redone or it was leaking or something. And so we all had to use the one bathroom and they were getting like frustrated at us for using their bathroom. I'm like, what do you want us to do? There's literally our toilet and then a hole in the wall into our other roommate's room. I'm like, I'm not going to shit and look down at you. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, but I forget what I was going. That was just like my little tangent.
I do wonder if it's like having more than one roommate too. Because then you're having to accommodate like lots of personalities and lots of different styles, where it's like with one person, you're just learning that one person and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
With more than one roommate, because I'm thinking of like, I haven't lived with just one other person.
Yeah.
Like I guess I lived with my boyfriend for a second, but
that is a whole other
that's a whole other
game.
thing.
Yeah.
I was literally in a trailer in the South.
Why did we do the things we do? I don't understand the path
great
we took.
Stories.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I did want to talk really quickly about having roommates and boyfriends. And like just get your thoughts on it then and now. Has it changed? How do you feel about it? What are you like?
It's funny that you say that because I recently thought like, what happens if one of us gets a boyfriend?
That's why I'm like, let's have this conversation live
right now while we talk about it. I think it's definitely like communication. You just got to like communicate with someone, because at the end of the day, like I'm not going to rain on someone's parade. And also like, I like having my person over. Like I want them to be involved, so I don't mind. And also like it's more of a party. Like I didn't mind when basically my sophomore year, it was 4 of us living in this like one little dorm room, because I had my boyfriend over and my roommate had her boyfriend over, and we would just like literally, me and him would sleep in my little bed. Also,
twin
beds.
How did we fit? I don't know.
Who allows that? Why is that like a standard way of living? It is this big, and then 2 people. And then I think of my big ass bed, and when Sophia was there, I was like, oh my, I don't know how I'm gonna have another boyfriend, because I don't know how this happens. Anyway, so I think that's fine. I think the piece that bothers me, and this is what my sister was saying about her roommate now, and I've never experienced this, but you should not have sex with someone with another person in the room.
Oh, yeah.
You should not, if someone is just like, my sister just recently went through a breakup, you should not be doing your little sweet lovey-dovey nose kisses good nights when your roommate is in that. Like, that's their space.
Yeah.
Also, your boyfriend should not be here if you're not here.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
I think that's all like pretty basic stuff. I saw that happen so much in college.
Yeah.
I do think too, like, it's hard in college because like you put people in an awkward position. Like, what was my roommate gonna say? Like, he can't come over?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like there were times where it would just be like, okay, hey, I think you've spent, like, we would try to go back and forth, like, to, like, my space, his space. I was gonna say place, but that's like way too adult. To like try to like make it a little easy, because I'm like, that's somebody's personal space. Yeah. Like, they have their whole, like, they, you know, you want to be comfortable, and I understand that. So I think that's like pretty basic stuff. It doesn't really bother me, but I understand that it can bother other people. So that's kind of like my tangent for it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I feel like in college, because we had our own individual rooms, which was nice. Mm-hmm. Like, even though we shared a space, you could close the door and it was your space. Yeah. But it, like, would get to the point where I would, like, wake up in the morning and I'm like, hey, Kyle. Like, he was just always there. Yep. And it's, like, not that he was in my space, but I'm, like, trying to go to the bathroom and he's, like, shaving his face in the sink. And I'm just, like, okay, like, this is happening a lot. This is happening every day. Yeah. And it was just getting, like, a bit, like, go away for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care if you stay over, but, like, you also have your own room in a separate building.
But I think people need to learn from that, because in college, and that's where I learned, is, like, when you're on someone's nuts all the time, like, you're also on their roommate's nuts. So, like, if I stayed when sophomore year, my college boyfriend moved from like the small 2-person dorms to like a bigger like apartment style dorms, and I was there all the time because now my roommate and I were fighting because she was a fucking lunatic. And I was there all the time, and like looking back, even like pretty much like right after it ended, I'm like, that's annoying. Like, I was always there. Yeah. Brushing my teeth, sleeping there. Like, it's annoying. And it's annoying, like, how can you have, like, a healthy relationship with someone? But it's, like, so, I didn't know. When you're so young, you don't know. You literally have to go through it in order to be like, oh, that's annoying. Yeah. You can't, like, live your life like that. Yeah. It's just annoying, too, for, like, the other, you know, the single people.
I think it's dependent on the space. Like, right now, if you had someone over, would not care. Yeah. Don't care. Yeah. If they were like staying over all the night, all the time, every night, I also feel like I wouldn't care if they respected my space as well. Yeah. I think that is like, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about like the boyfriend started like doing their laundry and like eating the roommate's food and things like that. And it's like, okay, that's a bit much. Like, you're overstepping. Yeah. Like, you can do your laundry sometimes, but, like, now you're doing it all the time over here. Now you're cooking every meal here. Like, you're buying your groceries and putting them here. Yeah. I don't know. Unless you're paying rent. Like, if they were, like, pitching in. Yeah. But that just seems...
It's hard. I mean, honestly, I haven't really thought too much about it because I feel like my level of stages for, like, a relationship is different than it was before. Like, I honestly, like, may change just because I, like, don't have someone in my life right now, but I would really want to take things slow. Yeah. So I feel like it would be a really long time before it got to the point where, like, I have someone over. Like, I just feel like I would feel so uncomfortable if we were, like, if someone was here all the time. Like, I would just want to watch TV with you, and then all of a sudden this man would be here. I'd be like, ew, what? Oh, I mean... See, this is me negatively talking about men. I would just be like, it would be different. It would be different to have another person in the space.
If I feel like it too, it depends on like if you like that person. Like if they're like your friend, like if you guys get along too. Yeah. I would hope that that's the type of relationship that I have.
Oh yeah, no, if you don't like them, like, they're gone. Sorry. Yeah. That's like same. If you can't get along with my family or my best friend, I am that kind of person. Like family is everything to me, and you're everything to me, that if like you have to get along or it's not going to work for me.
Like if we couldn't sit on the couch together and watch a show, then like
it's not
a good
it's
sign.
not going to do it. Yeah. But I just like, it's so like, I can't even picture it. I'm like, I cannot even imagine myself just like cuddling up with someone on the couch and then you just it's just like, it's so weird. I can't even think of it. I can't even picture it. But I do think like, yeah, I have like we've had people over before and it's not a problem. So I'm like, it doesn't bother me. But I think like if things were to like escalate, it would just like be a conversation. I also think like that's the beauty of like growing up, is that like suspense too. Like if you're all the time, it gets boring and then you get sick of each other. And I don't want that, because that's what happens so much in the past. Like I don't want to have to be on top of each other all the time. Like once I'm home and we can like find time to like hang out or have our alone time. Other than that, like you can come over and cook dinner for both of us if you want. Like other than that, like it's just gonna have to wait for another time, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
I think that's like a little bit more of like a maturity level type situation. I'm definitely learned a lot from my roommate experiences from college, and I've learned a lot living with like a boy and also like a partner, which has like prepared me, and also like I feel like I'm a good roommate. I hope I'm a good roommate.
I feel like we're do well
very
together.
Similar, and I think we can read each other's vibes, because there are some times where like I cannot do the dishes, where I'm just like,
I was gonna say we pick up on that so well.
It's wild, where I'm just like, because I don't mind doing them, but there are some days where like I can't, and it just like goes back and forth, where it's just like, oh, I'm here, like, oh, she started the dishwasher, so I'm gonna empty it, or like I am like, it just back and forth, like we don't have to say anything. It's so nice.
No, it's great.
I feel like the only time that we really have to communicate the shared space is the laundry, because it's just like our laundry room, our balcony is already so small, but like our legitimate washer is about this big. Can fit one of my socks, so like literally so small, and then our dryer doesn't dry everything. That I think that's the main reason why we have to communicate when we're doing laundry, or if like you're doing laundry. I'm not gonna try to do laundry that day, because it is a whole like it's a day 2-day process. That is just like, that's just how it is. So I feel like that's the only time where we just have to be like, hey, this is when I'm doing laundry. I also appreciate you bringing my extra socks and all the things I leave in the dryer, because I can't see in there.
Yeah, like I just like hang them on your door.
I love it. I like put it on my bed. I'm like, I was missing this. I knew this was gone. And I like try to feel around in there, but I can't see. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm like leaving half of my things in the dryer because I can't see inside of it.
No, I just open it and I'm like, oh, there's your sock.
It's like Dobby from Master has given me a sock. Oh God.
Well, I wanted to ask, as like the closing out, what do you think makes a good roommate? Because we're talking about all our bad experiences, and I can say the things that I've done that have been bad roommate vibes.
I think just like communication, telling people where you're at. I had a roommate who's actually like one of my really good friends, who was in like a really rough spot and literally could only do the bare minimum because that's all she could do. And communicated that all the time. Like, hey, I can't do this. Like, this is where I'm at right now. And I appreciated that so much, because I knew where they were at. I knew what was going on in their life, and I knew what their like ability was. So I was able to pick up the slack. So just like letting them know what's going on. I also think just like being self-aware, and also like it's hard because like things let up. But yeah, go back and forth. If you know that you haven't taken out the trash in like 7 days, maybe it's your time. Or like, and also don't.
Sorry, I'm really bad about taking out the trash.
No, me too. I'm so bad. Or the recycling.
I keep shoving it down.
No, me too. And for me, it's like our recycling bin is so small, but I'm really trying to like continue my recycling practice, that I'll just like pile it up in one section, and I'll just be like, I'll do that at another time. Yeah. Like if I put it right, like we were talking about, if I put it by the door, I'll take it out. doesn't happen. But also, like, don't take things personally. Like, I honestly don't think it's happened yet. It may, but, like, don't take it personally. If you were to come up to me and be like, Ellie, can you please take out the trash? It's not a diss on me. It's not a diss on you. It's not how we're living. It's just, like, your mental capacity and ability. Like, it gets annoying to be able to, like, say that to another person and not have them get annoyed or irritated or upset by it is, like, just a good thing to do. Keep in mind as well.
Yeah. And I think to that, like, especially if you don't have, like, a chore chart, if you're like mature adults that, you don't pick up after yourself, like, I feel like it's totally fair to ask someone, like, hey, do you mind, like, taking this out or something? They're not, like, if they ask you that every single time, then that's weird. But, like, I feel like that's totally fair. And I would not be upset if you were like, do you mind emptying the dishwasher?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't. I feel like it's, like, communication and, like, respecting common space. Like, I try to keep this area clean. If my stuff's out, I try and, like, clean it up in a manageable, or I'll say to you, like, don't worry, I'm going to clean this up and I'll tell you when. Yeah. And, like, that type of thing. Whereas, like, my bathroom right now is kind of disgusting, but that's my space.
I know we are very lucky that we have 2 bathrooms, that we have our own bathrooms. I feel like it would be a separate conversation, and I'm interested to hear, like, other people's stories on, like, what makes a good roommate when you have to share a bathroom. Because I feel both of us pride our bathroom space. I feel like both of us take long showers. We both spend a lot of time in the bathroom. Like, it will be interesting when we have to move closer to the beach and give up one of our bathrooms.
That's what I was saying when we were looking for a place. It was like, I don't mind sharing a bathroom if it's big enough.
Yeah.
Like, if it's the teeny tiny sink and, like, one cabinet underneath, like, that's just not going to work for me.
No. Yeah. And, like, bathrooms, it's just, like, you want to make sure that your bathroom, like, stays, like, clean. But, like, sometimes, like, it's hard and,
sometimes
things happen.
You're in a rush. Like, I'll, like, leave my makeup out, or, like, I need to wipe down the sink and I haven't done it yet. Right. And I'm like, it's fine. It's mine.
The toothpaste is right there, but you got to go. So you're just, like, leaving it.
Yeah.
I think it's, like, the same thing if you were to share that space. It's just because it's the bathroom and it's a little bit more of, like, an intimate space. It's a little bit harder of a discussion sometimes, but we're very lucky that we don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I have my own bathroom.
Oh, same. I'm like,
I can go in whenever I want.
Yeah.
All my shit can be everywhere. I do think I feel bad that and I graciously love you for it. Among all of the other reasons why I love you is putting up with my dogs.
I love your dogs.
Having dogs are animals, and they have a lot of animal things. And so I think that's where I try to be, like, the most aware of it, because, like, a mess, like, myself, I'm like, whatever. But, like, when my dogs make a mess, I'm always like, oh my God, because it's like your children. You're almost like, oh my God, clean up after yourself. And they're not too messy. Like, the only thing is, like, they shed so much. Bash sheds so much. But I'm like, I don't know what else to do about that. And also, like, Luna has about 700 toys, I think. And she's going to get more because they love her so much. And she likes to show them all off. And so, like, she spreads her toys. And so sometimes, like, it cracks me up when you'll be, like, walking and you just hear, like, squeak. And you're like, God damn it. It's just, like, it's funny. But at the same time, I'm like, I really try to, like, be aware of that, because it's, honestly, there are, like, 4 beings living here. So I try to, like, really be aware of that. But it is hard. It's hard to, like, if I'm running late and I'm neglecting myself, it's most likely I'm neglecting, like, their cleanup area as well. So I appreciate you putting up with Bash's hairballs literally everywhere.
I mean, I'm just glad we have a Roomba.
I know.
That, like,
I'm going to invest in a massive, like, vacuum, because I'm just like, she needs to be vacuumed. Like, that's what she needs.
No, it's not putting up. I feel like it's, like, a benefit of living with you.
Yeah.
I get to have them too.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yay.
Well, you're a good roommate, and I love living with you.
I love living with you. Honestly, this has been, like, the best roommate experience. It's so nice. Yeah. The way that our layout is the best. It's nice. And I love our common area. Like, I never feel not welcome. I feel like this is one of the first times since leaving home, really, that I feel, like, at home. And I love that.
I feel more at home like this than I did living by myself, honestly.
Oh, really? I love that.
Because I felt like it was like I had this couch, I had my own stuff, but I was like when things don't get used, when like a space doesn't get used, it just like doesn't feel like homey, you know?
Well, this is perfect space because it's like small, but everything gets utilized. Mm-hmm. Everything. Dining room to the bar to the balcony to the couch, like everything gets utilized. Yeah. And I love how open we are to each other's like rooms and how like we can communicate. Like if the door's cracked or closed, like we know, but like we're just like, hey, coming in. I'm laying on your bed.
Really, the only time I close my door is when I sleep or when I'm like walking around naked.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like on the phone with like, and I don't want to like bother you, or I hear you like on a meeting that I close the door.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm just like, come on in. It's open.
Yeah. No,
I love
good.
it.
It's a good setup.
Yay.
I'm glad we escaped the horrors. All the people that responded to our poll said they were the bad roommate.
I definitely. Oh my God, guys. I feel that. There was one of my college friends said something and I was in that dorm room too, and it just cracked me up. I love it. It's the best.
I think we all have been bad roommates at some point.
Yeah.
And hopefully you know how to be a good one, because it makes living a lot more pleasant.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to the people that responded to our Instagram posts and our social clips and comment and like and all of that stuff, and reply when we post a poll and questions, because it makes our job more fun, because we want to reach out to you guys and see what you enjoy and what you like and what people want to listen to and what's, I don't know, like going on.
Yeah, it's just engaging.
Your guys' life. Yeah, engagement, exactly. Wow, really circled around that word, didn't I?
Well, I feel like that's kind of why we made this, is like, yeah, for ourselves, but also like to hopefully build like a community of people that like relate. And so when people respond, it's like validating of like, yeah, you feel the same way or you disagree and why, and that's fun.
Yeah. And that's how we're very much like the best way right now to reach out to people is through our like social media, through our TikTok, through our Instagram. So it's really like nice to have people respond to that, and we try to make it very like quick, easy things for you guys to do in order to be engaged and show us what you like and what you don't like, in order for us to like produce things that are interesting to you for you to continue to listen and share with your friends. So we just really appreciate the people that continuously do that and that will, are starting to do that. And I know it's not super popular, but we do have an email. So if you guys ever want to share any stories or anything that you want us to talk about, please share that, because we love that. We just want to talk about what's going on in our lives, but also what's important to you guys. And the best way to do it is for us to know, and we don't know unless you tell us. So yes. Be a good roommate and don't stop listening to us, because you guys are our fuckers. So
we love you.
We love you guys. Have a good week.
Bye.